Good afternoon and welcome to Real Chicks Rock Presents Real Discussions. I am your host, Michelle Dawes-Burt, and as always, I'm super excited to be here. It's been a minute. I think that people might have missed me a little bit. I had some personal things that I had to take care of, but I am back. And you know what I brought back with me? The school year here in Atlanta. Kids are going to school. Some started already last week or the week before. A lot of kids are starting tomorrow. Some of us are super excited. The parents are happy because the kids get to go back. But you know, today is all about, my topic today is about teaching in today's world. I'm going to introduce my panel here in a second, but it's so critical and it's so important that we empower our scholars from the very first day of school. There are parents that are committed to supporting teachers. They're on PTAs. They believe in what the teachers are committing in doing. Oftentimes, we like to point fingers and teachers not doing this, teachers not. It's a huge responsibility. And today's conversation, I think, is important because we have not talked to teachers in a minute, and we definitely hadn't had a chance to talk to them prior to this pandemic. So for 2 years, we've had educators teaching our kids virtually. Some of them had been in a hybrid situation later in the second year, but nonetheless, it was a strenuous experience for our teachers as well as our scholars. And so we're going to talk to our teachers in just a second. Let me give a little background about what Real Chicks Rock is all about for our new listeners. It's all about creatively collaborating and connecting to raise awareness regarding the issues that impact women. And we do it by way of community service, public speaking, we do it through mentoring, we do it through the arts, and this platform, in particular, media. We've been doing it now for 6 years, or in the books. Wow. We're in our 7th season. Yes. So we're super excited. We've had the opportunity to talk to people like yourself today that help influence us, inspire us, and inform us, because most of the time we never get an opportunity to understand what you're thinking, what your experiences have taught you, etc. So again, it's all about community relationships. We want to build these bridges together, right? So again, today's topic is all about teaching in today's world. I have 2 beautiful educators that are on Zoom, as well as 2 educators in the building with me today. Hi. How you doing, everybody? Good. Everybody's good. I'm going to start, ladies first. Valeria, please tell the people your name, your title, and how long you've been in the education system.
Well, my name is Valeria Vincent.
That's right.
And I have been in education for 26 plus years. And that includes early childhood all the way up through a little bit of college.
Okay.
I tutored some college students.
Wow.
Actually, I'm an adjunct, part-time adjunct with Gwinnett Tech as well.
Nice.
So, I forgot the
That's okay. 26 years.
26 years. And what I do, I'm an educator all around.
All right, fair enough.
Yes.
Kevin, how about you?
Hi, my name is Kevin Latham. I've been teaching. I think 94 was when I started in education.
Okay.
I've taught elementary, middle, and high school.
Nice.
I served as a head football coach at a number of middle schools and at Columbia High School. And math has always been my primary subject.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Kind of specialty kids along that area from 6th grade to about 10th grade. It's kind of been my specialty.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Sure.
Ann, good morning. Good afternoon. Ann, tell us a little bit about yourself, first and last name, title, and how long you've been educating.
Hello, I'm Ann Smith. I've been educating as long as Valeria. I had her in my first year.
Wow.
96. That was my second career. I used to be a social worker.
Okay.
Coming into schools and working as special ed is practically half social worker, half teacher. So it went well together.
Awesome.
And that's what I've been doing for quite some time. Special ed teacher. I'm in high school now and I'm virtual.
Nice. Lakeisha.
Yes.
Good day. How are you, beautiful?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Lakeisha Anderson, and I am an administrator. I am an elementary assistant principal, and I have been in education for 21 years.
Nice.
So I have taught everything from pre-K to 5th grade, and I have worked in many different facets, academic coaches, instructional lead teachers. So I am definitely a teacher at heart, and I lead with the teachers at heart as well.
Awesome. So basically for our listeners, there's nobody here that's a rookie.
No.
We have seasoned professionals here that have been committed to the education system. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to start with you, Lakeisha. Why be a teacher? What led you into teaching? Why did you want to do that profession?
Actually, I started in corporate America.
Okay.
I was a finance guru in corporate America, and working with my customers and my clients, I found that many of them lack the basic skills, writing their names, completing a withdrawal slip, and that troubled me so much. And I thought, you know what, it must have dropped the ball somewhere. I thought the foundation had to be cracked, and some of these individuals, adults, had fallen through those cracks.
Wow.
And so I believe that may have been at the elementary level. And so that's what inspired me to be a teacher. I was driving to work one day, going down to Peachtree Street, corporate time, and they were rallying for people who had degrees to come into the teaching field.
Wow.
So I took a leap of faith, became what I like to call a corporate dropout, and went in actually starting as a paraprofessional.
Really?
Okay? I thought if I started the mayor, I'm the assistant.
Yes.
So I really love this thing. It's going to work. God's going to bless it.
Yes.
So it became a ministry. And again, 21 years later, I haven't looked back. I've been at the same school for 21 years.
Are you serious? Wow, that's awesome. Awesome.
In the community. And now I'm now leading and supervising the children of my former students. So that's a blessing.
That's awesome.
To see it come full circle.
That's awesome. What city and county do you?
I'm with Clayton County Public Schools.
You're in Clayton. Awesome. That's awesome. They need you down there. That's awesome. And how about yourself? What led you to teach? Why become a teacher? Why did you want to become a teacher?
You know, I've always been one to work with children. I started in college, pre-K, and that kind of thing. But as a social worker, those cases never end continuously. They go on and on and on. Teaching, at least there was some closure at the end of the school year.
Right.
That attracted me. So I switched fields, but I didn't know how to go about teaching and how to get in. But at the time, my particular district needed math and special ed. And they would pay for school and send us. I said, okay, I'll take special ed.
Awesome.
And that is how I got involved, and so much love it. I've done everything from self-contained to now virtual. So I'm having a classroom or having kids from 5th through 8th grade in one room in the middle school setting. But now I'm in high school and I'm in a virtual setting, and it is amazing. I probably would have been retired by now had it not been for this virtual.
Wow.
I loved it.
Wow, you're still smiling. I want people that can't see us, I want y'all to know these professional teachers are still smiling after 20 some odd years. You guys know what you do. So what county do you teach in, Ann?
I teach the state of Georgia.
Okay.
My school covers everywhere in Georgia.
Wow, awesome, fantastic. Valerie, how about you? Why did you get into the teaching game? Why did you decide to be a teacher?
So originally, I was going to be a veterinarian.
Oh, wow.
And so my senior year in high school, I was looking for money to go to school, and my mom or my dad, I can't remember who found it, but there was a fellowship in the state of Tennessee they were looking for teachers. And basically they said that if you went into teaching, that they would give you $5,000 a year for college. If you went into teaching, if you taught 4 years, you would basically pay it back and I wouldn't have to pay it back. I'd pay it back in service. So I said, okay, I'll go ahead and get my degree in biology.
Okay.
I'll teach for 4 years, pay that money back, and then go to vet school.
Okay.
Well, biology ended up switching over to elementary education. And I ended up volunteering. I went to Tennessee State University, and so I ended up volunteering at the Early Childhood Center on campus, and that was all she wrote. I needed to be with kids.
Wow.
And so from there, I worked at a neighborhood daycare and became a nanny, and so kids are just in my
they're
system.
just important to you.
Yes.
And you've done after school things and programs.
Yes.
You're a gamut. Fulton County is your home. Where do you?
At the moment, I am a family support coach with Sheltering Arms, which has 13 centers in Metro Atlanta. But I'm in the South Fulton, one of 3 South Fulton centers, Union City, College Park area. And so we cater to families that are in Fulton County and South Fulton. However, we do have families that end up in Clayton County. So yes, I work with a lot of different families.
You do. You do. All right. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Kevin, how about you, sir? What led you to teaching?
You know, I was living and working in New York City as I was a communications major at University of Tennessee in Knoxville.
Nice.
And it was good to be working in my field, but you know, just dealing in a corporate setting, and of course in a very cutthroat field of publishing. I had a close fraternity brother that was teaching at Boys and Girls High School, and he was really, really pressing me to consider it. New York had a program where they were helping people to get certified in education, and I was really seriously considering it. I ended up getting married and moving back to Atlanta, and I just kind of held on to that thought and started working as working actually at the county office in DeKalb County while I was working on my certification, and then started teaching from there. I just took to it immediately, and it felt good because I was teaching and working back in the neighborhood in which I grew up.
Nice.
And that felt good.
Nice.
That really did feel good. And then coaching came shortly after that, and then it just kind of took on a life of its own.
Why math? Why math? I know
You know,
you're
it's-
passionate about math. Why?
It's interesting. It didn't start off that way. I didn't even know. You know, back then when you were getting certified, they would take your undergraduate transcripts and see what area would it be easiest for you to be certified in. I was sure it was going to be language arts because I was a journalism major, but it was not. I have so much math. They said we really need math teachers, and and they really kind of pushed me to be certified in math. So I ended up getting certified in math, and then learning how to do it because I wasn't an education major. You know, I cared a lot about it. I cared a lot about what I was doing, and with some help with some great mentors, I got pretty good at it.
You are good at it. You are good. We're going to talk more about that. I want to jump in with Lakeisha. Lakeisha, we had this pandemic for the past 2 years, right? Very earth-changing, shattering. Like, you know, people put time limits on it, Lakeisha. They said, oh, we're just going to be on for 2 weeks. Then it was a month. Then it was 2 months. And then it was like we felt we was never going to get back out. Like we had no idea. And now we have these children that still need to get educated. And I just want to ask you, starting with you, how was that? I know there was probably a sense of, I don't know if panic is a good word, but definitely concern, or how are we going to teach these children? So how was it for you in your school? How did you guys approach it? How was it for you?
Well, first of all, I must say I have the best leadership superintendent I feel in the state of Georgia. He was very proactive in preparing his leadership teams.
Nice.
For what we like to call the pivot. Okay, March 13th is a date that will be forever etched in our memory when we thought we were just going home for a few days.
Yes.
And it turned into almost 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And so we diligently rallied. We already had a plan in place. Prior to the week that we came out that Friday, our teachers had created virtual lessons. They had already prepared the students on how to access their online classrooms. So this is something that we had been preparing for once we got the news. So our pivot was not as traumatic as many had experienced. So I will attribute the first thing to our leadership as a district. The second thing was we realized at that point that we were now educating our students through our parents. Our students are digital natives. They know how to manipulate technology and use it very efficiently. However, many of our parents and grandparents and family members that were now going to be tasked with housing those students during the day while their parents work were more like the digital immigrants, right? They didn't necessarily know how to do that. So we found ourselves communicating a lot, really understanding that I was running a school and helping run a school from my kitchen table was one of those things that, but I was more readily available than I was when I was actually in the building. It seemed like we were 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for our parents and our students as far as support was concerned. We had our teachers create office hours so that they could walk parents through the steps of helping their students log on and be able to complete assignments. Our community liaisons, our community engagement specialists, our parent liaisons, every member of our staff was accountable to the work to make sure that our students were receiving everything that was possible. That we have to make concessions, yes. Our bus drivers rallied, we provided lunches and breakfast to every student in the district so that we were trying to keep their life as normal as possible.
Thank you.
Our teachers, again, had to pivot and kind of revamp how they were distributing or delivering instruction, which they did a phenomenal job with. They could come by the school and pick up supplies. We were just rallying around the fact that our children still needed to learn,
Yes.
and that they still needed a sense of normalcy, even in the panic
Yes.
of our nation.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I must say that our district was, again, very proactive, not very reactive. We were ready.
Okay.
And so the pivot worked well for us.
Because we were virtual, do you feel, or did you have a sense of us losing our students virtually, their attention, their ability to learn? Did you feel a difference in your school?
We felt the difference. We realized that it was a large undertaking, especially for our younger learners.
Yes.
For many of them, their first 2 years of acclimation to school was spent at home on the couch or tucked in the bed, right? So that was a concern for us. There were a lot of missed learning opportunities. But what we realized is that we did as much as we could for as long as we could, and that we knew that when we came back into the building face to face, that the real work would begin there.
Right.
And so that's pretty much how we were preparing ourselves. So we gave them everything we could, and we realized that there were times where we had to push, and then there were times we had to release. Too much screen time is too much screen time.
Yeah.
So to expect the student to be online during a normal school day was too much.
Yes.
And so we began to implement like 15, 20-minute breaks in between. We did a collective lunch period so that every student in our building went to lunch at the same time so that families could break and have that time together.
Right.
So again, it took some forward thinking to think beyond just the functionality of the school,
Right.
going along our normal schedule, to think about ourselves and also to consider our teachers who also had children
Right.
in school. And so
Right.
they too needed a break to prepare for their children. So thinking beyond just the scope of the functionality of a building, but more so thinking from the heart of the people that we serve.
Thank you. Thank you for that, because Lakeisha, because that's very important, because we were parents at home working, right? And unfortunately with corporate, you guys that worked at corporate know, it doesn't stop, right? So the meetings are still expected to happen. They don't care, blah, blah, blah. And so for us at home, productivity went up for us at home, because the expectation for parents, well, you're at home, you don't have to drop kids off. We're going to have meetings that's starting at 7:30 in the morning, and we're going until 6 o'clock at night. It was long days. And so the stats showed that productivity went through the roof for corporate America. They've got more out of their people from working at home. There was no commuting, no sitting in traffic. People were literally getting out of the bed, working in their pajamas, literally, right, during that time. So thank you for incorporating that balance, because it did help to understand that we could have lunch with our kids, or there would be breaks in the day that we could touch base and touch point. But it was hard, because corporate is designed to absorb your whole being. It's not designed for you to really have a work-life balance. And so you needed teachers like yourself, educators like yourself, to help us hold our students accountable. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to use my kid as an example. He told me for 2 years he was doing the work. He wasn't doing the work. He wasn't doing the work. And so all of this, we want to reduce their screen time. He had no problem playing games during the screen time. So they pick and choose the things that they want to be engaged with. So I ask you, Ann, because you're a virtual teacher, what do you do to keep the kids engaged all the time virtually? What are some of your tools in your toolkit?
Oh my gosh, we have so much fun.
Is that what it is, fun?
I promise you, I didn't think of it before we started, but if I can find the commercial that we made to get the kids to come to our biology class.
It's awesome.
These children, my team is off the chain.
Yeah.
Now, we don't see each other, but once, I see the science team once a month, I see the special ed team once a month.
Okay.
And so this is the best team I've ever worked with, because we all get along so well. We don't see each other but twice a month.
Wow.
So we don't have that in the building drama, tension, climate, whatever it can be there.
Gotcha.
And so we're just also happy to see you need. and we brainstorm and come up with the craziest things. My biology team, I do the review of and vocabulary of the last session. Then we have one lady that teaches content, and she is hilarious. Got little puppets and all kinds of things.
Wow.
And we're talking high school now, right?
Wow.
And then the third tech teacher does application. So she'll whip out and do experiments right there in front of the camera. And we have, well, I was just looking at, we have 3 little shout outs from our last meeting because we beat the state in our biology score. We have the best scores that we've ever had in the history of the school this past year with pandemic even. When they went back, was this the first year they went back in person again?
Yeah.
Okay. They went 2 texting and they did incredible.
Yeah.
And some of my special ed numbers went from beginning learners to developing to beginning, whichever way it went. Anyway, we got some that went up from proficient to distinguished.
Nice.
And we were so very excited. Our numbers were fantastic.
You guys are good. You guys are good.
If I can find, I'm sorry?
I said you guys are good. Your team is good. You and your team are good.
They are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, during the pandemic, I didn't have anything to do that first year, so I studied by the pool. Also,
Okay.
biology certification. So I got certified in biology. Not many special ed people get the certification in the
Congratulations.
Because, we're the creative side. But
Yeah.
now I'm learning how to love biology because these 2 ladies, they love this stuff. It's so much fun. What is it? I went and got certified, and it is fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thanks, Ann. For you, Kevin, the challenges of trying to teach. Were you still teaching students virtually?
No, it's interesting to hear these great teachers talk about their experience. I was teaching. I was already retired from teaching full time, so I was working as a math tutor in DeKalb County at the time, and all of us part-time teachers, we were all kind of laid off at the beginning of the pandemic, and we didn't return until the students returned to the classroom.
Okay. Do you feel that the students missed you? That there was a gap while you weren't in the tutoring space? How were the students last year?
Not just me, but most of they hired really high quality tutors. These were all, for the most part, retired teachers that came back that wanted to be involved with kids. So it was a big loss. It was a big loss, and we thought at first that we'd be able to stay on and also teach and work with kids in a virtual setting, but they didn't allow us to do that. One thing I will say though that I'm seeing and hearing these teachers talk, and the teachers that I knew in DeKalb County, there was a real sense of accountability on the part of the teachers. Not a lot of complaining. The circumstances are what the circumstances were. They just got to work setting up virtual classrooms. I saw some amazing work. My brother being a teacher, one of those teachers as well, just working really hard despite the circumstances to get as much as they could, from the kids and to try to keep them engaged. Because, like you said, it's a case by case basis. There were some kids. It was very difficult.
Very difficult.
They could be very manipulative. They know how to use the system. They know
Absolutely.
They know how to turn off the computer. Yeah, but
showing their face half screen,
exactly,
doing all that stuff.
Yeah, but no, but overall, I think that across the board in the state, I'm seeing. I saw some amazing things being done from the teachers. For sure.
Fantastic. How about for you, Valerie? What was going on?
So at the time of the lockdown, I was actually teaching middle school and high school in a local private school.
Wow, yeah.
And so it was funny because probably less than 30 days prior to the lockdown, the headmaster told me that I was using too much technology in the classroom.
Really? Look at God. Wow.
So that week before the lockdown, he came to me. Well, he called me that Thursday night, and he said, "Tomorrow, I'm going to need you to get the teachers together and show them how to use that Google Classroom."
Right.
So I did what I needed to do, showed it to them, and I was their point person during the lockdown, and we made it through. And I think that overall, even though I know Ann's situation, I worked with Ann, the school where Ann works, I've had children that I've worked with that go to her school.
Awesome.
And so that made it, I got really comfortable with the whole using the computer and
Right.
that platform.
Right.
But what I have seen and what I have witnessed, and I think the good that came out of this is that it pushed some people to come on over to be a little bit more relaxed and comfortable with using technology with the children, and and letting the children show them how to use the technology, and give them that freedom. So
To Lakeisha's point, the kids do pick up very quickly.
Yes.
My son's taught me a few things here and there because all I knew was WebEx and Skype, a little Skype, Zoom, but then this whole Microsoft Teams just like took off, and so everything was in the Teams and everything was a chat and this, and then Google Classrooms, and then you got to go online on the apps to check the grades and the announcements and the things was missing. Everything's just virtual, and it's different. And I'm trying to tell my son now, when I was his age, it was writing on the board. You had to write down your stuff. You might have got a sheet of what the agenda coursework was going to be. But this is the new age. Everything is going to be through a portal. Everything is that. Everything, you need a laptop, you need a smartphone, you need this, you need that. It's a different time. And so, yes, thank you, educators, for helping us who don't know. Because all some of us do on our phones is play Scrabble, or is it or Solitaire, or whatever, Candy Crush, and so they don't know how to, they don't know how to maneuver through the things. But here's a general question for anyone to answer. There are always long lines to play the lottery. You see the Mega Ball, the Powerballs, 300 million, sometimes out. People are like, I don't play the lottery, but I got $2. I'm gonna play. I might win. I might hit. Right? Go to the gas station. The lines is long. This and that. The lottery, when it came to Georgia, was always designed to help to go back into the school systems. Are we seeing that money? Educators, what say you? Is that money actually hitting our schools? Anybody?
I know that the program where I work with Sheltering Arms, we have 2 classrooms of Georgia pre-K, and so I do know and understand that there is money that is earmarked from the lottery for Georgia pre-K.
That's good.
So I do know that, and then so I look when I try to find the connection between the lottery and education.
Yes.
I say I see it at the beginning
At pre-K?
at pre-K, and I see it at the end at graduation with the Hope Scholarship.
Okay.
So I don't know if anyone else can speak to
The
what's in
middle grades.
I'm not sure.
Ladies, do you see any of that money?
Now, I agree. The beginning and the end.
Yes.
It's more publicized. I have 2 pre-K classrooms in my building as well.
Okay.
So I think that component is very essential. Even if we have a pre-K program, at least one in every elementary building, simply because we are front-loading our scholars for school. And so this way, when I look at it, 44 students leave pre-K primed and ready for kindergarten.
Right.
That's 44 kids that we guarantee can identify 26 letters in an alphabet. They can identify numbers from 1 to 100. And that's something that we didn't have before those pre-K lottery funded programs. So it is essential. And then also when our kids graduate, it's important that they know that there's an opportunity that is there for them to have that post-secondary education. And if they've done all that they were needing to do during that high school year, that they're rewarded at the end for those scholarships that are available to them based on the lottery funding. So I do too see it at the beginning, the very beginning, laying that foundation, and then it's the springboard at the end to the next level of academic standing.
But what about the middle? Don't our babies need it in the middle? Don't our children need it in the middle, like computers and things of that nature? What say you, Ken? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I know that the overwhelming majority of that money is earmarked for pre-K programs and scholarship, not only Hope, but other programs as well. So it does seem like there's a huge gap. I worked in my capacity as a tutor. I'm at a Title I school, and those are federal funds. So I know that there's some federal money available for middle grades as well. But just being honest, the money that's from the lottery is primarily, I think it's $1.5 billion or so that's actually put back in the program, and the overwhelming majority of that is for college scholarships and for pre-K programs.
Lakeisha, what would you like to see your school have? What do you think school systems are lacking today? Is there anything that you have on top of mind?
As far as resources are concerned,
Resources or even educators, anything across the gamut. It could be resources, it could be laptops, it could be now that everything's a Proxima, right? You guys don't even use blackboards anymore. And some of it it's a whole different thing, right? Is it that type of thing? Is it teachers? Are you feeling that you need more qualified teachers or teachers that have the passion? Is there anything like that you feel?
right now we need some bus drivers. So
Okay.
Anybody knows? That
Okay.
If you know anybody that wants to drive the bus,
Okay.
come down to Clayton County. We need some bus drivers.
All right, that's good to know.
And who are part or an extension. Our bus drivers are an extension of our
Yes,
students.
yes.
And so it's very important that we embrace them and understand that they play a very important role in the totality of school. They transport our kids to and from school
Right.
Every day safely, right?
Right.
And so that's important. As far as technology, I have a technology-rich district where we are one-to-one. And many of the districts in the metro Atlanta area have also become to be one-to-one with technology, meaning that every student has a laptop that is assigned to them. And so the resources are coming in. I think that we really need teachers that are truly just passionate about teaching again, who really are there because they want to see the next generation thrive. And so, of course, is a teacher shortage all over our districts and all over our state at this point in time. So those that have a skill set that really feel a passion for teaching and learning, we implore them to come out and be a part of our learning communities. I think more so than anything, I would like to see the community really understand its role in schools.
Okay, right.
Most recently at our leadership retreat, we had a community, a business owner come in and speak with our teachers and to share what they experience when our scholars leave our learning facilities. What are our seniors lacking? Do they know how to complete an application? Do they know what a signature is?
Right.
Do they know how to sign their name? And so there's some soft skills that I think that we could benefit from teaching our students. But I think it's important that our community, our business owners that employ our students come back and share that information with us so that we can properly prepare our students to be those global, right? Competitive scholars that they need to be in order to move on to the next level. And it's not just about the academic piece. We need a skill set. We need those trades back in place.
We do.
I mean, I know I need my mechanic and my plumber, and I need my electrician when things go wrong. And sometimes that didn't require you to go to college, but it requires you to have a skill set.
Yes.
Right.
So I think we need to go back and focus on those students who don't really necessarily have that high academic standing, but they have that intellectual understanding of how things work. And so they become the best at those trades. And so pushing those trades and finding opportunities to collaborate with community members to give our students that hands-on experience while they're in the learning process, that OJT that we used to have back in the day, I think would be essential to the success of more of our students navigating through our school system.
Awesome, awesome. Joe, I saw that question, but I couldn't see it. So if you can put the question in the chat, I will address it once I go through this particular question right now. And do you have any needs? I know you're virtual, but do you find that maybe some of the students don't have laptops or internet, or are there any challenges in the virtual world for you from a resource perspective?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All
We
right.
did have complete and total access to the internet free.
Yeah, everybody. I agree. Set a nickel and diamond, especially in a scholastic or education space, without question. If nothing else, can you give it to us free from 8 to 6? That's primarily when kids are going to school in the morning, and then they should finish their homework by 6 o'clock. Then okay, after that, charge me a little something.
Right.
But from 8 to 6, let us have the internet so the kids, and let it be some strong broadband too, like not something stuff buffering all day. They're getting kicked out of the classroom. They can't keep up. So that should be. Is that something we should try to fight for? Or it's just us against these telco companies. What's happening? We can't get it.
The rural communities are worse.
Yeah.
The coverage are so far,
Yeah.
and a lot of our kids that do sign up for this program aren't in big cities, and that's where it becomes a little bit difficult when they lose lose that internet. Something as basic as internet.
Yeah.
You would think there would be a little stronger situation here, but that's what we're doing.
You're absolutely right, because you can go just to like McDonough, and some parts of McDonough, and it seems kind of rural.
Yes.
There's no bars on your phone. I don't care if you have Verizon or AT&T. There's no signal in some of these places, and people are living out there. And you're like, this is not far from Atlanta, you're thinking, but you're right. There's Atlanta, and then there's Georgia. And I know you're dealing with Georgia. You're not just dealing with us here in the city life. So you have those challenges and those opportunities. Kevin, I'm going to ask you, what resources do you think or you feel is lacking in your space of teaching? Do you think there's anything missing?
Well, it's interesting because now in DeKalb County as well, every child should have a laptop.
Right.
And of course, that was such a huge step from where we were previously. You know, we're definitely receiving that. There's always more things we can do. There's always more. You know, we have 3D modeling in our school for our science students. Those things are fantastic. But what we need more than anything is just passionate teachers that always tell new teachers that are thinking about getting the profession, you have to love kids. You have to love students. You know, having students that are willing to. Having teachers that are willing to learn how to best use the technologies, having teachers that really see how it can help them hold the students accountable, how it can help them do quick benchmarks so they can see where their students are, because we're all deal with differentiated classrooms where there's students of all different abilities. These are all things that we have available to us. Not that there's not more things that we need in terms of technology. Certainly that Wi-Fi is a major issue, not only in rural areas, but sometimes in the cities as well. Just figuring out a way to take the best advantage of what we have and use it fully, I think it'll put us in a much stronger position. So there's definitely a need, but I don't think we're getting all that we can out of what we have.
Okay, fair enough. Val, how about you?
I'm going to piggyback off of something that Lakeisha said with the community support and community engagement, but also we need our families to stay engaged as well, especially with us going back in person. The families need to remain engaged with the schools. They need to remain engaged with their children. They need to just remain engaged and don't think that their children have it.
Okay.
Don't assume that your children have it. Always do a check-in with your child, but also do a check-in with the teacher. Do a check-in with the school in general, just to make sure that you're doing what you need to be, what is needed, what the expectation of the parent is being done on the parent's part, and also that you're inspecting what the teachers are doing, checking after what you're expecting the teachers to do for your child. So
awesome. That's a good segue, because that was going to be my next question. What can we do as parents to be better engaged? Let me tell you what I do. Maybe this will help some people. As soon as they have an open house, I'm there. Yes. Any kind of parent-teacher conversation, I'm there. Yes. I see you, Lakeisha. We got you. We lost you for a second. We got you back. Thank you. And when I look at you, you look just like your sister. You ladies are beautiful. So one thing that I do is I show up, and I ask the teachers, shake their hand. I just want to understand what they're going to be teaching my son, blah, blah, blah. And immediately I say to them, it's your classroom, and I'm here to support you. So whatever it is that you need from me, please. And I give them my email, my phone number. I tell them it's better to text me and email me, because I may be in this position that I can't take a call, but I can see that you called or you text me, I can hit you back. Tell me. I said, my son is charming. He'll try to get out of some stuff. Please don't wait until it's time for grades to hit the book and he's not where he needs to be. So that's what I tell the teachers and stuff like that. And I will say this, I am seeing improvements, at least at my son's school, of more parents being involved. And it's not just grandmas. It's grandma, it's the daughter, it's the dad, it's an uncle, it's a community. It's almost like a field trip. Like the whole family comes together for the open house to hear what the teacher is saying, and they're all becoming more invested right in their children. My son goes to a uniform school, so I hear them buzzing, well, we got to hurry up and get the uniform, because they, and and that sets the message to say to the student, we want to be in compliance
Yes.
with what's going on, and we want you to have a successful school year.
Right.
That's the thing. Let me ask Ann, because Ann's virtual. Ann, because you're virtual, do you have that same kind of or type of conversation with your parents? You need them to lean in and be engaged with your students virtually as well, correct?
Absolutely. In order to be a part of our school, the parents have to sign an agreement to provide a learning coach. And when Val took upon herself to create this career of hers and become a learning coach for several GACA students, she took different students from different families, put them all in one location, and worked with them as a learning coach. I've seen a couple of businesses take off doing that now, and that is super, super cool. There was a place we used to call GACA South because it's out in Clayton County. A lady's running it. She has a whole program, maybe 20 kids, and they're all enrolled in my school, but she's the supervisor there and making sure they're getting their work done. So the collaboration and the working together with the community, with the parents, and because we have to talk to the kids once a month, that's required, to generally talk to them more, but their parents are there some of those times, and they get more involved. I can say in my special ed class, brick and mortar, I can say there were some years I didn't see a parent at all.
Wow.
And here, I actually see them, I talk to them on Zoom. We meet in my room together. We all talk. So that it really, really brings the family together.
I think it's a couple of things, right? Because my son, the very first president he knows of was Obama, right? So to see a black man in office kind of does something for our children, right? They're like, man, and he had a beautiful wife, and not only did he get one term, he had 2 terms, so 8 years. And then they saw this guy named Trump, and they're like, oh my God. And then it was killings and shootings, and they're on social media, and they're seeing people in McDonald's get called out of their name, and food thrown at them, and stuff thrown at them at Starbucks, and just this whole tension of race between people, right? Between white and black and other ethnicities, and then men and women. It's just this, they're seeing it. They're not, what is going on? And I think that parents, we realize that we cannot take anything for granted, right? If you have a conference call, the numbers are up through the roof. Like, you look and you see how many people are leaning in, because we want to make sure our children are empowered to deal with this world, just to be able to succeed in this world, because it has been visible in these last 4 years that everything is not in favor for us, right? And even in a pandemic, right? Everything is not in favor for us. So I think our children are starting to really understand, like, I better get this, or whatever they're trying to teach me, I better figure this out, because mom and dad's not going to be here forever, and I got to get this together. So Lakeisha, are you sensing that too? And I know for Clayton County, there was some years back, unfortunately lost the accreditation, got the accreditation back, and ever since then, that county has been on fire. So are you seeing parents, and I'm seeing some beautiful homes being built in Clayton County too, some nice townhomes and things, affordable, nice housing going on in Clayton County. So are you seeing your parents leaning into, Lakeisha, every year?
Our parents are leaning in.
Yeah.
I think the pandemic was that wake-up call.
Yes.
To say, hey, I need to know. Because they didn't have the school to rely on as a buffer.
That's what it
Our
was.
students had access to the internet, so there was no filter for them in regards to national issues, things that they ordinarily would not have seen during the school day because they would have been at school. They were now at home at the mercy of the television and the remote, and they could click, and now they had technology in their hands. They had laptops, right? So now they're Googling and surfing. And so this generation of students, they're discovery learners. They're learning through discovery. They think about it, they heard a word, they Google it, right?
Yes.
Updating every 7 hours. Every 7 hours they say that Google is updating.
Wow.
Just imagine the access to information that they have, both good and bad, right? That they have access access to that they normally would not have had.
That's true.
Because they would have been in school. So we had to educate parents on how to appropriately allow their students to use the laptops.
Right.
We had to talk about digital citizenship. We had to talk about cyberbullying,
Yeah.
internet, and social media. Social media went through the roof for our kids. We found that kids were texting and sending messages and all kinds of things just at home because they had, again, that unsupervised.
Yes, yes.
My parents are at home. A large percentage of my parents are hourly workers. If they don't go to work,
They don't get paid. That's right.
So little Johnny is at home with grandma, and grandma's 86.
Yep.
She's cognizant, but she's still 86.
She's
She don't
86.
know nothing about Instagram.
She don't.
Right.
No.
And she doesn't understand about messaging and DMs. And
Right.
so we had to begin to have those really courageous conversations with our parents. And the accountability had to shift
Yes.
from the school as the primary to our parents being the primary and us being the support. And so we had kids that would be in class, logged in via Zoom, but in a Google Doc, talking about something completely
Right, right.
So we had to find ways to manage that. And so we began to block certain sites.
Yes.
And things. But the truth is we need access to those sites and that information because it's a part of the learning process. But we have to teach our students and our parents how to appropriately use the resources that we have. That's why I say resources aren't always the issue, it's our use of them
Yes.
that really determines the success of the students in the learning communities.
Right.
So yeah, we definitely have seen that, but our parents are there. They like the fact that we have access. They have access to us.
Yes.
My parents like that they have an option of whether to log into a PTA meeting virtually because they're in traffic in Atlanta coming home, or they can actually physically show up and get the same
Right,
information.
Right.
Right.
I like the fact that they can scan a QR code and now download that information
Yes.
to refer back to later
Yeah.
versus having to be there in front, in
Yes.
center to get that information. So I think we're just adjusting, and my district is looking at being future forward,
Yes.
future ready. And so what does that mean? We learned a lot during the pandemic, right? And so to abandon that information would be for naught. We need to continue to utilize that. So I still meet with my staff via Zoom, right?
Yeah.
Because COVID is still real.
Yes, it
You know,
is.
I'm still, if I ran a school 2.5 years from the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
And I can have a staff meeting via Zoom, even though we're back face to face,
Yeah.
so that my teachers can get home to their students.
That's right.
And they can end their day. So we're making allowances as we go based on the information that we've acquired over the last 2.5 years. And that's the important part, that we are still using our data to drive our instruction and our interaction with our community and parents.
Lakeisha, as soon as you become principal, I'm bringing you back on the show, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
As soon as you become principal, I'm just going to give you the whole show. I want you to, you just on point. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you so much. Everybody is on point today. Kevin, I want to ask you, because you teach high school.
High school and middle school.
High school, middle school.
Yeah.
Do you feel that kids are still interested in going to college these days?
They are very much interested
Okay.
in going to college. You still hear that from the overwhelming majority of kids.
Really?
in the high
Okay,
school.
good.
But what the preparation piece is the part. It's kind of like kids. When I was coaching, they say they want to go and play at these major universities,
Yes.
but the preparation, what is it really going to take? What is it really going to take just for you to get through high school to get the kind of the scores that you're going to want on the test, on the SAT, ACT, which is still required in a lot of schools. And then what it's going to take to develop the kind of study habits that it's going to take for you to be successful at those schools.
Yes.
So that's it. We always say that for a child to go doesn't mean anything until they graduate, and that's
Right.
what we're trying to get to.
Get
that
them there.
point. But the interest is still there, very much so.
Very much so.
Very much so.
I think the coursework is different, right? The majors are different, right? They're not teaching the same. Like nobody wants to be a project manager. I'm a project manager. Nobody's trying to really go to do that. Maybe they want to do something still in the communication space. Maybe there's a little political science. There's some CSI work like forensics. Like whatever looks hot and is going on now. That's what we're You know what I'm saying? Technology space, drone flying that stuff, doing, so I guess these colleges, I don't know what their curriculum looks like, but I'm going to start checking now to see what the offerings are, because the traditional classes and things are not going to be of interest for our kids. That's what I'm saying. Because it's a different time. It's got to be more technology based. What I would like to see is entrepreneur classes.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
my son has already said, he sees me sweating, wiping the sweat from my brow, from working these meetings all day, and he says, Mommy, I don't want to work in corporate America. He's already said that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I understand that, I respect that, so we have to figure out what is it, how do we get you where you want to be? And maybe you work for corporate, and maybe it's not as long as some of us have done.
Sure.
Maybe it's just a little bit enough to understand the style, the techniques, what's important, because corporate America is designed to succeed, not to fail, right? So they put frameworks in place to help them generate money.
Yeah.
And if you're not going to help them make money, they're going to remove you and bring somebody else in that space. But understand how to manage people, or how to be managed, and how to communicate.
Yeah.
It's some of the fundamental things, as we've heard from the ladies, that was missing. I got in corporate America, but some people are not getting it. So I think some of those things are needed. Val, what do you say? You think that kids are still interested in wanting to go to college?
I think there are some children that are still interested in going to college. However, my son said the same thing to
Marco,
me.
yes.
That
What he
Christopher said to you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be running around here like that. I'm not going to do it. And so I said, well, we need to go ahead and get a plan together of what it is that you're going to do.
Yes.
I said, we're going to, but he's had the experience of me, of seeing me in my role as an entrepreneur, and running to different households to tutor and work with children, and being the learning coach, and seeing how I've had to sit down and do my budget, and bringing money in and working with my bank accounts and things of that nature. And then, not to mention, when we owned the store, we had the shop.
Yes, I remember that.
He was an integral part in that, and learning how to work a cash register. So he's already like, I can do all this thing. You think I need to go to college for it? So I know he's not the only child. That's
thinking like that. Yeah.
So he was blessed enough to be accepted at Global Impact Academy in Fulton County this year for high school, which is a STEM-based high school, and one of their goals is to make sure that the children, before they graduate, that they have received certifications. So if they want to go to college, they still have those certifications going into college. But if they don't want to go to college, we're working on, well, where can we place you with these certifications coming out of high school? So that is such a blessing.
It is a blessing.
Not only to me, but when we went to open house, I saw a lot of other parents that were on the same path. So, but there are children that are still interested in going to college. I just walked with a girlfriend of mine through getting her child moved into the dorms Friday. So there are children that are still interested in those traditional paths, but you got a lot of those kids that are the techies, the ones that have that entrepreneurial spirit, that they just want to, do I have to go there?
You have to go there. And as a parent, I'm gonna be transparent, because I banged on the doors for Global Impact. Please let my kid in, please. And it was you had to get him in at the 9th grade or something like that. I missed. I couldn't get my kid in, so I was sad. Tried to get him in Westlake. Took the test. He didn't pass. So all of these schools, at least in South Fulton, because I live in the neighborhood. Okay, at least in South Fulton, there's not enough schools or the curriculum that's attractive, that's teaching our kids technology, computer science classes, even financial management. Help me, right? Because everybody want to get the bag, secure the bag, get the money, but don't know what to do with the money. We are trying, everybody that's on this call right now in this discussion, we have broken generational curses, period, end of story. The fact we are doing things differently than our parents had ever imagined to do, right? So we have empowered our children to excel and do greater things than we've done, and we want them to be able to secure and have that financial literacy that goes with it. These schools in which we pay taxes and we buy these houses and live in these neighborhoods, the houses are not bad, they're pretty good, they're nice neighborhoods. The school curriculum does not meet where our kids need to be. And so then we are charter schools and all these specialized schools
right.
trying to get our kid in, and we can't. And we have to move to get zoned for that. Nobody's doing that.
Right.
Nobody's got time for
Right.
that,
Right.
right? Because we're not going to live in an apartment or forfeit, or we got mortgages. We got to figure it out. So I am, if anybody wants to have a committee on how we can change, please sign me up as a parent that's going to say something about it, because we have got to change, and it should be in every school, not just in Global or Westlake, because Cam Newton went there and everybody want to go there, and it's a big athletic vibe over there. It's beautiful. The campus is gorgeous. And when you walk over there and feel like you're going to Chick-fil-A, they say, "Hi, welcome to Westlake." That be the students
Right.
greeting you.
Yes.
It's beautiful over there. And they're black and brown children. So
Absolutely.
our children are designed. They just need to see more of the models that it exists, because your whole demeanor changes when you walk in a building that's set up for excellence.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So if I, that's why I tip my hat to Lakeisha, because
Yeah.
I can see it on her.
Absolutely.
This is the first time I'm meeting her,
Absolutely.
but I can see it on her. If I go to her school, I know what it is. There's a level
Yes.
of excellence
Yes.
that tells our children there's nothing that you can't do. Sprinkle with a little faith. We always have a little faith in our back pocket, right? Because we know without God we wouldn't be here, right? So we sprinkle that on them as well. So if there's anything, I really want us to really adjust curriculums, financial wealth and management. We are in the Bitcoin age, and this cryptocurrency and all this other stuff that our kids know about and is chasing, but when they get it, what they're going to do with it?
Right.
We have to teach them how to make strategic investments so that it's generational money that's going on, that we break the cycle that I had it and I messed it up, and then my son has to start all over again.
Right.
The other cultures teach their children to build it and keep it on for generations to come, right?
And that's where it starts.
That's where it starts.
Yeah.
And if I could just
Yes, come on in.
Thing.
Yes.
Understand that you asked, how do we start that?
Yes.
It starts with the parents. We have to have a mindset shift.
Yes.
And so when we think about our students, the students that are sitting in our schools right now, many of them will work in industries that haven't even been created yet. But we have to change our conversation with our students.
Right.
My parents are going to have to be transparent. Johnny, you said you wanted to be a doctor, but you don't like science. Let's talk about that, okay? You don't like math, but you want to be an engineer. Let's talk about that, because I don't think we're having those real transparent
Yeah.
conversations
Yeah.
with our students. Our parents are still saying, I want you to grow up and be a lawyer, a doctor, a nurse, because those are what we believe were those high income
That's right.
Yes. Yes.
that we all aspire to. Oh, how the
Right.
parents stick out their chest and says, my daughter's a lawyer, right?
Right.
But how many people stick out their chest and say, my daughter is a social media influencer?
Right.
Because guess what? There's some social media influencers
Making a lot of money.
Millions.
Yes.
Making a lot of money. Making a lot of
Sitting at
money.
home
Yes.
on their own work schedule.
Yes.
Right.
Dropping content at their need.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And they're making more money than our corporate America executives.
Say it.
Yes.
So we have to switch our mindset.
Yes.
We got to change the conversation.
Yes.
Because again, the jobs they're going to work in, we've never even heard of. I mean, if I had to ask you 10 years ago, who would be a social media executive? First of all, you said, what social media?
Right. Right.
And so you think about Facebook, Google, Instagram, Twitter, all of these things 10, 15 years ago, they didn't even exist.
Not,
We're still stuck with a MySpace mindset.
yes. Yes.
Okay? And so until the parents and the community that surround these students change their mindset
Yes.
and think beyond today, what problem do you want to solve? I'm not asking my students anymore, what do you want to be when you grow up? What problem do you want to solve?
Good question.
There it is, right
How
there.
prepared? I want y'all to think back to Y2K. What do you remember about Y2K?
Yeah, we was all trying to prepare for it and nothing happened.
For the world,
Yeah,
you had
yeah.
water, you had
Computers.
beans,
Yeah.
you had a generator.
Took my money out the bank.
So why is it on March 13th we were so unprepared?
Right. Right.
Because we abandon things when they don't happen the way we think. Oh, that wasn't real. Right?
Yes.
The truth of the matter is, we should have been preparing ourselves
All this
for that
time.
pandemic a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Because it was coming, and our preparation was there, but we just ignored it. We can't allow our children to ignore their preparation.
Yes.
Right? And so we've got to prepare them by thinking what? Future forward.
Yes.
Right? So what is it that a child in the future will have to be able to do in order to be successful? First, they got to think critically.
Yeah.
Second, they got to learn how to collaborate. They got to learn how to have a conversation. So communication is going to be essential.
Right.
And guess what? Most of our gifted learners, and these are the kids that are high functioning, right? Our gifted learners, you know where they fell short? Creativity.
Activity. Yeah.
Many of them can't think beyond the black and white.
That's right.
all they see is black and white.
Right.
The gray area is the creativity.
Yes.
But they miss that because no one is engaging the mind beyond what is reality. Because reality is relative. It's what you make it and what you believe it to be.
Yeah.
So when you think about that, we've got to change the conversations that start where? At home.
Yes.
What problem do you want to solve? And when you start thinking about the problem you want to solve, then you create the position to be in it to solve it.
Mm.
Right.
So that's, I believe, where it starts. And parents have to understand their voice has power. Sitting at home wishing it would change is not going to make the difference. You want to see a different curriculum in your school? Get involved.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Come to the round table with the principal.
Yes.
Come to the superintendent
Yep.
round tables. Talk
Yep.
about what you think your child should need. And if you advocate for yours, guess what? And you get it, everybody else
Everybody gets it.
is
Yep.
gonna get it.
Everybody gets it. Yeah.
Every parent in every school, in every district is doing the same thing, then we all get it.
We're gonna get it. Yeah. I gotta stand up to the superintendent level, because I definitely do the round tables with the principal, and it's no shade against them. They're doing their best, but I just want to see more of even what they're teaching in my son's charter school in the public school setting. Everybody should be able to get the same exposure of education. Shouldn't have to run to a charter or specialized school to get it. For what we pay in taxes and what we do in our communities, it should be there, because it's up in Gwinnett, it's up in Alpharetta, it's up in these other places that is not majority black and brown people.
Right.
Yep.
So we know better, so we're gonna fight to get better, right? That's it. I'm gonna end on that note. Woo! That was good. Man, I enjoyed this conversation today. Thank you. I want to thank all my guests today. Thank you, Lakeisha and Valeria and Kevin. Thank you so much for your contributions, your dedications as educators, teaching our children, not just here in Atlanta, but abroad, right? I appreciate you guys for all that you do. That's my time. I want to thank everybody that came out last week for our back to school drive. It was a success. Thank you. We thank you so much. We're only as good as you guys. Thank you for the donations, the backpacks. We bless people. Bus drivers stopped. APS bus drivers stopped. MARTA drivers stopped. People in their cars stopped. We gave them bags, and it was like you could just see, oh, thank you so much. We just helped. We did what we could with our community. We were so thankful. So thank you, everybody. What's coming up on the charts for us? Yes, we are going to be sponsors for House in the Park. We will have Ramon Rousseau here in 2 weeks as we talk about House in the Park. It is that time of year. It's number 18. We're super excited. We'll be doing that Labor Day weekend. So come on out to Grand Park and have a good time with us then on Labor Day Sunday. I think it's September 4th. But that's my time. But this is what we say when we always close. We say, may you live to be 100 and I live to be 100 minus a day, so that I never know that beautiful people like you have passed away. That's my time. Until next time, be well, take care, and continue to rock on.
There I go, there I go, there I go, there.